it's Leo, and today we're going to talk about episode 8 from Delicious Party PreCure that brought lots of interesting points, and it also added new layers to Ran, a character I am absolutely loving. I'm having a lot of fun with her, and I feel like she brings a different energy to Delicious Party. She's very campy, she's very out there, and I am living for the visual moments they created for her in this episode. I hope it keeps on giving, I hope it keeps on happening. There are lots of things to talk about in this episode, so I want to divide this video in kind of like 3 parts. The first one is Ran and the episode as a whole. The second one is Takumi, and the third one is Gentlu. So let's start. First with Ran. So we see at the start that Ran is kind of weird. She's acting weird around the girls. Yui notices, and because she was feeling weird, and now that the group is complete, Yui decides they're going to go on the Oishina town tour. They're going to tour the town, and it was a very nice tour because they toured in like 3 different places from Oishina town, and they all represented each of the girls and the own foods they represent when they become cures. So it was very nice. So we first had them eating sakura mochi. It looks so delicious. I really want to try that one day. And at that scene, we could see how Ran was interested in the concept of recipipis and how they can see recipipis better now and how things are different for her. Like, this is a different new experience for her, and she was having a lot of fun, and she was thinking of using that experience with the cure star thing, but you know, she was feeling doubtful about that. And then we had the girls going to the Western food part, which is Kokone's style of food, and Kokone, like they all ate kind of like this beautiful sandwiches, and there were like bread and such, and the energy fairies also ate, very cute. And then we get to the Chinese part, which represents Cure Yum Yum and Ran, and they also got like delicious food. They all look so delicious. I forgot to mention one of the things, like it was one of the first scenes of the episode with Ran in her house together with Men, and she was wondering about what was going on and what was Bundaloo gang doing. And that was an interesting point because at that moment, like so far, we see the Bundaloo gang attacking, and we see that people are like having their food rotten and tasting weird. They can't eat anymore. So basically what Bundaloo gang is doing is taking away the pleasure of eating things. And that's basically what they're doing so far. It's not something big, but the message of Delicious Party is how important it is for sharing food and having a good meal, how it can impact you and your own happiness. This is one of the themes of the season. And so the evil corporation of the season is doing the opposite with the food that is supposed to be delicious. And for Ran, food is also very important. It's a key part of her family, of her own story as a person. So she feels that deeply. She feels that it's a bad thing, and she knows that it's a bad thing. And at the same point, we could see how Kurista is important for her. She eats food in different restaurants, and she writes about them. She creates a whole post about what she's eating. It's not that she is taking the picture and quickly posting. She thinks about it. There's this whole concept behind her persona on the internet, and that was very interesting to know. It's not her taking pictures and posting them without thinking. You know, she studies what she's doing, and I really liked seeing that. So she was having trouble, and she confided on the girls that she was not gonna post things anymore because she was doing it, and the Bundaloo gang was using that against her. So she didn't want that. She didn't want to have that responsibility over her. And I can understand that. I can totally understand her. And the girls try to talk to her like, girl, this is something you love. You cannot stop doing something you love because someone else is doing it for the wrong reasons. And even the mascots tried to help her, but we had a very weird scene with Kome, like Kome becoming her human version out of nowhere. It was like supposed to be like Ran's introduction to baby Kome, I felt like. And Uran didn't react because that was Uran's moment of sharing her feelings. So I thought that scene felt very out of place, but it felt cute nonetheless because Rosemary appeared and Rosemary was out of the Oishina town trip, and Rosemary was feeling envious of that, and I love those scenes. And I feel like when Rosemary appeared, Rosemary was the one to give Ran the best advice concerning that, especially by talking to her about being careful of the things you post on the internet. You can post things on the internet, but be careful with the information you share, because the information is shared everywhere and everyone can read what you're posting. And Rosemary has this wisdom that the girls, being younger versions, younger people, don't have. So Rosemary is a different perspective, bringing a different perspective. But also, Yui also tried to bring a new perspective to the girls by saying we have 3 options here. If none of the 3 options are working, what my grandmother taught me was, you have to think of another option. Think outside the box. Stop using the options you have and think of something new. And that's basically what Kira Yum Yum did in the fighting scene. So, Cooking Them sent Rosemary on a mission of studying what was going on with Chururin. And there was one place that Chururin posted and the Bundle Gang did not attack. So that was so odd. Do you really need a mission to learn that? But whatever. That was where Gentlu was going to attack, and that's what happened. Gentlu attacked that diner, and the girls went on to the delicious field to fight. The fighting scene, it had some nice scenes, but I don't know, it felt very weird. Because Yum Yum basically played solo on this. And okay, I understand, it's her moment, it's her thing. I didn't love this fighting scene. I didn't hate it either. It was better than the last one, but it still feels a little subpar to what we had in Delicious Party prior to this. Even though we kind of had some nice moments, I still feel like it was weird, but it was the message that Yui brought Ran. When something isn't working, try a new perspective. Try something different. And that's what Ran did. And that's what Kira Yum Yum did. She tried a new perspective to hit the monster because you couldn't hit it directly. So she tried something new. It worked very well. And she was able to defeat it. I also like the way they're playing with Kira Precious as being the funny one. The pinks aren't usually the funniest. It feels like sometimes they are the most chaotic, but leaders like Yui, who are not the most chaotic out of their teams, being the funniest ones, at least when they're cures, is not what's common. So I like that. So at the end, that's what Uran thought. Uran is using Yui's philosophy, Yui's grandma's philosophy, in action. She's going to continue to post on Cure Style. But she is not going to post as she did before. She's going to post them to go. They didn't understand what she meant. I didn't understand what she meant, but we're going to probably learn more about that later on, and I'm curious. So I absolutely love Ran, and her voice actor is doing the biggest job, I feel like, out of all the voice actors. I am loving her voice acting so much. It's incredible. And the visual cues they're working with Ran, girl, it's out of this world. I just can't. Now let's talk about Takumi. So there are 2 things I want to say about Takumi. First one, Takumi wanted to invite Yui to eat hamburgers with him, and obviously, if you are in love with a PreCure, you are going to suffer. That's the rule of the boys in PreCure. You like a PreCure, you're in love, you're infatuated with her, you are going to suffer. And that's Takumi's destiny in Delicious Party. To suffer and to be always around her, but she will never notice you. That's it. Even though Yui notices Takumi because they're childhood friends and they know each other very well, blah, blah. At the start of the episode, we have that scene with Cooking Them. And there are two people working to try and discover what the Bundlu gang is doing. They are Rosemary here in our world and Fennel in the delicious party world, in the cooking. Fennel is not here. Fennel is not in our world. Fennel is in Cookingdom. And so we have both of them working together, and probably, we don't know that. That's a theory of mine. Probably Rosemary and Fennel got together, not together personally, but like they communicated and they analyzed all of the shooting posts on Curista, and both of them came to the conclusion that the place that was going to be attacked was going to be that diner. So here's a theory of mine. I believe Fennel told Takumi something about that restaurant because Takumi was there. And Takumi was not there for any reason. He must have been there for some reason. So I believe that Fennel and Takumi have some kind of relationship. Father and son? I don't know. But Fennel probably asked Takumi for Takumi to go there and investigate to see if there was going to be a Bundlu gang attack. And that's what he did. So Takumi saw Rosemary there. He saw Rosemary enter the delicious field. I don't know if he saw the girls. We didn't see that in this episode. For all we know, he saw Rosemary enter the delicious field. So he knows that there's something magical going on behind the scenes. So I really want to know what is going to happen to Takumi from now on, and how is he going to be involved in this story? How is his destiny? What is going to happen with Takumi? And let's talk about Bundlu now. So the Bundlu gang. So we see that there is something weird about Gentlu in this episode. She's having headaches. She's in distress. She is not acting like herself. So when they are talking, Secreturu notices that there is something wrong about Gentlu. Secreturu clearly notices that there is something wrong about her. And so it was interesting to see a new place inside the Bundlu gang, because we could see, we always see them in the same spot. And in this episode, we saw Gentlu in another place. So that was nice. And at the end of the episode, we also saw Gentlu walking alone by herself. She was having a hard time walking. She was having a lot of headaches, and she took her mask off. And when she took her mask off, the transformation wore off, and she was Amane, the student council president. So now the show has made it clear that Gentlu is Amane, a direct reference. So they are both the same person, and she probably uses the mask to transform into Gentlu. There's also the hat, but the hat didn't seem to be a key point of the transformation. The mask is. And in the preview of the next episode, we already see a new villain attacking. And we already know he's called Narcisturu, what matters is, what I think, here's another theory of mine. Secreturu notices that there is something weird about Gentlu. We don't know what's going on. I think it's brainwashing. I think she's being controlled somehow, and that brainwashing is wearing off. And Secreturu knows that there is something wrong with her. Because of that, she knows that she's not going to last long as Gentlu, and so she calls on another general to work with her and help her in the missions. So this is what I believe it's like everything that's behind Gentlu. I have no idea why Gentlu is being brainwashed or why she's doing whatever she's doing. All I know is that the show has made it clear who she is, and I believe it's brainwashing because she is suffering. There is something in her hair, in her head, and it's making her suffer. So because I think it's wearing off. So it's like, what's going on here? I am very curious. I am so curious for this story. What the hell is going on with Takumi and Gentlu? Both of them seem to be very interesting and are key pieces to this story. Anyways, this is my view on this episode. Next week, we're going to have a little bickering between Ran and Kokone. I am gonna like it a lot because I think it makes a lot of sense for Kokone to have this bickering, especially with Ran. They just knew each other, And another interesting thing, Rosemary did not give the chalice to Ran yet. The time will come probably next episode. Ran's story is still being told, and I think he is only going to give the chalice to her next week. So let's see what is going to happen. And we also have the new villain girl, lots of interesting things going on. Anyways, this was my view on episode 8. Please share yours in the comment box and let's keep talking and also theorizing. Anyways, babies, this is all for now. I want to take this time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate it. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.